Hello, YouTubers. AJ coming at you again. And today we're going to talk a little bit about. There's a gaming convention called Gen Con uh, that was started back in actually the late '60s. Anybody that knows about the current conventions that go on like Comic Con and Dragon Con and all these, well, they all derived from Gen Con. It was the first, and um, I believe it's the largest gaming convention. And it was started in the '60s by one of the guys who created Dungeons and Dragons, Gary Gygax. Um, Now, the current iteration of Gen Con takes place in Indiana, where the original one took place in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, which is where Gary Gygax lived. So the current iteration of it is owned by a guy named Peter Adkison, who bought it from Wizards of the Coast. And no problem with any of that. But I went to the website for Gen Con today because I just wanted to see what the history they had listed, for the event was and all that type of thing. And they've got the history there, but they don't mention Gary Gygax or Dave Arneson or any of the other guys that actually created it, which I'm okay with because it's been so many years and so forth. But they actually have a separate category there. They have it listed as the visionary of Gen Con, and they list Peter Adkison as this visionary. Well, as I wrote in my blog about this, Peter Adkison is no more the visionary of Gen Con than I am Captain fucking Ahab. Okay? Peter Adkison was about 6 years old when Gen Con was created by Gary Gygax. I was 2, and Atkinson was about 4 years older than me, so I'd make him about 6. So I'd like to see them prove to me how he could be the visionary of it when he was only 6 years old. So anyway, so that kind of rubbed me the wrong way today. So I thought that I'd make sure that on my channel, at least, that for those of you who aren't old enough to know the history of it and all that, that at least you know that if you are a player of Dungeons and Dragons, any version of it, could be 1.0 to 4.0 now. You obviously know that Gygax is the guy, along with Arneson, who created the game, but now you also know that he is the reason that Gen Con even exists. So just wanted to clear that up. And as always, I am drinking a beer. And today's selection is Colorado Native. Let's see if we can get that where you guys can see it. It is a beer that I picked up on a road trip that I just got back from about a week ago. I went to my Army reunion, and I actually bought this in Colorado. I'd never seen it before. And it boasts on the back that it's all Colorado local ingredients that they use: Colorado Rocky Mountain water, barley, yeast, hops, all from Colorado. And it's a pretty tasty beverage, but it's a bit on the hoppy side. So those of you that like hoppy beers, you probably love it. So it's a little bit too hoppy for me. I can drink one of them, and that's about it. For those of you who love hoppy beers, it's probably right up your alley. So anyway, if you happen to see it out there and that's your style, then by all means pick one up and give it a shot. So the last thing that I wanted to do was, as I've talked about in my introduction video, I said that we'd always cover, one item out of my gaming archives. And because I was, on this little tirade about Gary Gygax, I figured that the item that I would pick would be the very first novel that he wrote for the Greyhawk world. Of course, he created the world of Greyhawk as the campaign setting for the original Dungeons and Dragons, but he also wrote a series of books, and this was the first one. It's called Saga of Old City, Greyhawk Adventures, and the main character in this is Gord the Rogue, and you can see him, he's right there on the cover. And this book, you know, it goes into all of his trials and tribulations and adventures and so forth in the world of Greyhawk. And Gord the Rogue goes on in a few more books in that series, the Greyhawk Adventures series by Gygax. And then at some point when Gary left TSR, he continued writing Gord the Rogue novels. Just as that, they each one had their own title, and then under it would say a Gord the Rogue novel. So if you see that name or that term, Gord the Rogue novel, it's going to be by Gary Gygax, and it's all chronological. If you start with this one and go through those, and then the ones that he did after TSR kind of continue the story. So that's the history on that. So with that, I will bid you all adieu, and cheers. Have a good day.